All right, welcome to another episode of Paul Meets on the Paul Gough audio experience and podcast. Today is, it's going to be an amazing. I've got no other words. I've just literally said to my team, I'm very excited for this, and I've just asked Kevin how long has he got, because I think we're going to go deep into some amazing topics. Let me start by telling you that Kevin is a guy. When did we meet? 2017. 2017. So we're 9 years. We're 9 years in. I met Kevin when he was very fresh, fledgling, yes. Business owner, zero kids.
I was listening to your podcast because I knew that I was about to quit and need to start my business, but I didn't really know how to do that. And then you came along and gave us the just the permission to kind of do it, but also having the knowledge and the frameworks to make sure that if we're going to do it right.
So the podcast was the thing that you found first in 2017.
Right.
Driving along in California.
Right.
Commuting in Dublin. And here we are today in Orlando in 2026 with you on the podcast.
That's right.
This is amazing. This is going to be great. So before we get into the episode, just let me remind you, we're headed to California for the Cash Pay Summit, which is taking place in LA, Hollywood, May the 1st, 2nd and 3rd. We are getting together to celebrate. It's been 10 years since I launched the Planet Paul community, of which many superstars, of which Kevin is one, have come along and started businesses from nothing and now running multi-seven-figure businesses, multi-location cash practices. Everybody said it couldn't be done. And here we are now, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients and hundreds of thousands made, millions of dollars, every year from Cash Pay PT. It's beyond any reasonable doubt now that Cash PT is here to stay and that you can grow and scale a successful cash practice. We're going to show you how to do that in LA, and equally we're going to celebrate and we're going to recognize and we're going to acknowledge the likes of Kevin and many others who started their practice around about 2016, 2017, who to this day are living terrific lives and raising families and building businesses, employing people around their amazing skills. So if you would like to join us, the cashpaysummit.com is the place for your ticket information. Get there as soon as you can. Whenever you see on the price is the lowest that you will get it for. So head over to the cashpaysummit.com and be sure to select the all access ticket. You do not want to miss the gala that we're having on the Saturday night, which is going to recognize and celebrate the success of the mavericks of the Cash PT profession. So we're headed to California. How far from you, LA? Dublin to LA? Still a good distance.
It's about 5.5 hour drive or an hour flight.
Nothing's close in California. No. Is what I remember with the traffic. Yeah, I used to spend a lot of time in La Jolla, and
beautiful.
That's
the one thing about California: the beauty, the food, the culture is. Just leave it at that.
It is.
It's amazing.
My kind of growing up as a kid in England, obviously you watch the movies and they're all Hollywood, right? So you kind of see all these movies in the Hollywood Hills, and Baywatch was huge in the 90s when I was like 14 and 15. So every Saturday I'd come home from football and the Baywatch would be on with Pamela and what was his name, Hasselhoff. Yeah. And I used to see all the glisten of the sun on the sea, and don't forget I'm in England in the middle of January and February. It's cold, it's dark, it's damp. So this whole kind of Hollywood lifestyle for any kid in England growing up was just this amazing thing. And then to get to go over there and spend some time there was pretty cool. It is a beautiful place.
Yeah, where I grew up was actually in a small town called in Rhode Island in New England.
Okay.
On the East Coast.
Yep.
And it was the weather was the same. The winters were the same, just cold, dreary, walking through sludge everywhere. And then my brother initially made the move from Boston to California, and that's what I just kind of stayed with him for a couple of weeks. And then through our university, there was clinical rotation available in San Francisco. I was like, I'll just see if I can hang out with my brother for that rotation. I never left because why would I go back? It's like
paradise.
It's December and I'm outside wearing shorts, sunny, and it's nice, I get it now.
Yeah.
So we just kind of stayed. But then there's things that could improve out there, but that's still one of the best places
good
to
for
live,
you.
for sure.
Yeah, good. So this podcast is not your typical. We're not going to talk about marketing funnels, although if we do end up talking about it, we will. We might end up there. But it's not your typical tactics, funnels, workshop kind of strategies. It's a lot more about the pressure, the guilt, the responsibilities that business owners live with. So you've been in business now for 8-9 years?
Yeah, since 2018. We launched in February, so it's our eight-year anniversary this month.
Nice.
Where do you want to start with that? You want to start with just that beginning journey?
We're going to get into it. So the background, we're in Dublin, in California. So the
Right.
clinic has been built in Dublin, in California. Cash practice.
Yes, cash practice.
100% cash practice.
100%.
We're in I imagine California's relatively competitive.
Very much so. Yep.
To say the least. So we're going to start there. But before we get into your business, what got you into wanting to be a PT in the first place? What's your origin story?
Sure. I think it's the same origin story for a lot of ex-athletes who get injured. For me, it was a shoulder, wrestling, several dislocations, and having to have surgery and whatnot. But having to go through that process of PT at a stage in life, 15, 16 years old, these are your formative years. You're trying to figure out, what am I going to do with my life? Yeah. And I loved watching sports, loved watching basketball, baseball, and I knew I was never going to be a competitive enough or athletic enough to get to that point. But I could always imagine myself, I could be that guy, like running on the field to take care of the guy when he's injured. I could be that guy. Yeah. Like I could do that for sure. And then when I got injured and having to go through that process, I was like, oh, I could see myself being this guy. I could see myself doing this. So let's do that. So that's what I did, and I was like, yeah, I can see myself doing this. I'll just do it.
Yeah. What about your business now then? Tell me. Give us a big insight into the business, staff, size.
Right now, it's my wife and I. So my wife sitting over there. We partnered together. She's a massage therapist, physical therapist. So we decided to just make a hybrid, just massage PT clinic. Starting out, and it was just us two in the beginning. And then today, I guess we should back up and just kind of go through what happened from launch to kind of where we are now. Does that make sense? We can just kind of go through that timeline.
Yes, let's go.
So 2018 February, we launched after Accelerator right into Mastermind, and I remember the Accelerator program was just one of these you've heard this story a lot. It's true for us too, where we had just gotten married, and but this was a time where I was like stressed, burnt out, 31 years old, thumbs burning, like 16 patients a day, 5 evals, 2 hours of notes, and I'm like, 31 years old. There's no way this cannot go on much longer. So I'm like, shit, I just got married on our honeymoon, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Because I can't stay here. So like we're gonna have to go all in. We're gonna have to do our business. And I remember on the honeymoon, I snuck a podcast episode in, or I think I may have snuck an accelerator module in just to kind of get through it. But the accelerator program is where we started, and that kind of gave us the like, oh, okay, I can see the people in the group literally doing it, and that was the biggest value. The people that were in the group doing it. I was like, oh, I just have to copy them. Yeah. So I did that. Bought the website, bought the Infusionsoft, and I was like, all right, let's get ready and let's go. And it worked. So first couple of months took us like 2 or 3 months to replace the salary, and but not just replace the salary, but like a third of the volume of patients. So I was like, oh, we did it. It took like 3 months. So that year was good. It was just kind of working, and kind of the dream that we had of like getting myself out of the grind into a much better position, just physically and financially. That's where we're at. And then 2019, we doubled. We doubled the revenue, raised the prices. We were set to move into a second premise, or a new premises, a bigger premises, because we were getting ready to grow. Yeah. We were doing interviews, and end of 2019, life was good. We had just done the New Orleans mastermind, and we had a whole plan to hire, scale, grow, had everything planned out. And then right after New Orleans, we go to the Cayman Islands. Remember that? Remember that trip? March of 2020.
Yeah, we know what's coming.
We know what happened.
Yeah.
COVID, obviously. I don't know if I can say that word. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And it derailed us completely. Took out all of our momentum under our feet.
Did it derail you emotionally?
Yes.
Or, yeah. Do you think that was the biggest challenge?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Our son had breathing problems,
Okay.
like asthma,
Yeah.
and a respiratory virus.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah.
You have a son with breathing problems, so that was the thing.
I bet.
We were taking care of the parents who were older. Can't bring that shit home.
Yeah.
Got elderly parents with health issues.
Yeah.
That was it wasn't the emotion of like it was that.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't about I think just getting through it, like business wise, that was probably the easiest part. It was just the paranoia that we were all kind of going through.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I couldn't shake it, and that lingered for a while. People that were double masking, yeah, I was one of those people. Afraid to go to the store, yep. And pretty hard to grow a business when you're in that mindset.
Yes.
80% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at for a while. It was hard.
So what shook you out with that then? How did you get back on your feet to the Kevin that I see today?
I'd say like during those years, 2020, 2021 were a bit of a haze. We were just very lucky being in healthcare that we had started when we did, because you look out, the therapists were getting furloughed, they were getting fired. Mm-hmm. They had to be in the gym with like 20 other patients, 20 other staff members. And the reason why we were able to get through business-wise with the breeze is because we were small and solo. And the patients were coming to see us because there was no one else around. And that my paranoia was their paranoia. Yeah. So we kind of got along. Right? So that's how the business, that was easy.
Yeah.
All the other stuff was the hard stuff. Just so we kind of I made the decision then. I was like, all right, we're fine with us too. This is easy. Like running a cash pay practice with like 3 to 5 patients a day, making a lot more than we would have been still working at the other clinic. This is the easiest stuff. I'll just ride this out for a couple of years, or just until we're ready. And I don't know when that time would have been, but I just thought to myself, all right, this is easy. Business stuff is easy. Let's just, when it's time, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And that's
where we are today.
That's where we're at today.
All right, so let's get into it. We're into today. The questions will be a little bit deeper
Sure.
than maybe a typical podcast. At this point now, what's taking up the most space in your head as you think about your business, your life, your family? Just Kevin as the CEO of a company. What's got you? What are you lying awake at night thinking about?
How should I say? All right, let's start with the trip here. Just being in Florida. Just us two. We just officially hired our first full-time staff, like clinician wise. He starts on Monday.
Yeah.
And here we are, shutting the clinic down to be here. So what does that mean? There's no revenue coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And our kids aren't here, so the kids are staying with the parents. So guess what? You have to have a conversation with mom. Hey, can you watch the kids for a week so you can do what? Go to Florida again. Okay, why? Because I'm gonna get AI put into business. What? So there's that conversation, and then got to talk to her, because she's the partner. She's not gonna leave her. She's gonna be here too. And she's like, we're going to Florida again. Like, we have to. We got the fucking golden ticket because we signed up for Connie, so we gotta be here. She's like, okay. But in the back of my mind, it's like, how should I say this? It's not like coming here is like Disneyland. It's literally Disneyland. But it's just an escape from some of those, just like I don't want to say it's an escape, but
So I get it from when you are in the office day to day, and you've got inevitably we have the same drive, we've got the same space that we have to be in every day. We've got the same landscape around us. We've got parents, we've got kids, we've got all of the, I don't know, the social connections that you've got at home, and you kind of get so used to that.
Yeah.
To come and get on a flight, to leave everything that you know, you're going cross country. You know, it's not like a quick 20-minute trip.
Right.
You're going across country, you're leaving all of that behind. It's the unknown, even though you know that you're literally just heading to Florida. It's like everything that you leave behind, it feels so safe. And I think this is where I'm getting at. These are the pressures that business owners, we get so used to feeling like if we're not there, we're not in control.
Right.
And if we're not in control, it's quite worrying for us, if you like. So for business owners to leave their offices, it's a big deal.
It is.
Even though for the, like, if you were an employee, right? I've often said this, right? And you know, we've got staff listening. If I said to Jay, you have to go to California tonight, right? It's his job. He has to go to Dublin tonight. If he's got kids and a wife at home, he walks in the door at 6 o'clock and says, honey, I need to be on a flight tonight at 8 o'clock because my boss says, right? Now, there might be a little bit of, I'm not overly happy, but he goes because it's part of his job and somebody's told him to do it. You or I, we don't get told to come to these places. We make the decision, right? And that's the hardest bit for being a business owner. If I'm told to go somewhere because it's part of my job, it's easy for me to explain to Natalie, I have to go because my boss shouts tomorrow if I don't, and we lose income. When I go home at night and I say, Natalie, I'm going to England next Sunday for an event in Liverpool, I have to be away for 6 days. She knows full well that I made the decision to put that event on in England. Like, that's 100% my decision to be in England for 6 days next week without 5 kids here in a different country. Yeah. But if I went home and I said, my boss told me to go to England for 6 days, we'd both roll of our eyes and say, oh, that's a shame. You know, it's not ideal, but we'll make it work, honey, right? We deal with it. Yeah. So the biggest point that I'm raising, and again, and this is where a lot of business owners struggle, we have to deal with the guilt of the decisions that we make. And that's, I think, is the hardest thing about being a business owner.
Yeah, the day we were leaving, our 5-year-old daughter, she's very, she's an interesting, because of her, she's only 5, but her understanding of like things and the questions she asks are just like, how do you know this? Because she's like crying. She's like, why are you going to Florida? You're not taking us? And she's like, we went to Florida like last November. You don't want to take us? Like, why is that? And I was like, I have to go for work. She's like, but Papa, isn't your work here? Why do you have to go to Florida? Your work is here. And she's not wrong.
I remember the first time that it hit me. Harry was 18. He must have been 18 months to 2 years, because he could talk just. He was definitely, he was verbal because he said something to Natalie. I was in America, and at this point we weren't the family that we are today, and the business wasn't probably even in existence. I think I was probably still on the journey of the development and Dan Kennedy and, back and forth from Cleveland and all of the events I was doing. And I rang Natalie and I said, how's Harry? And she said to me, I'll never forget it. It was one of the most like gut-wrenching moments of my life, and I'm 4,000 miles away at this point. And she said, he thinks you're lost. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, his granddad had said, where's your daddy? Right? So Natalie took him to see his granddad. His granddad Eddie, still alive to this day. And his granddad said, where's your dad? And Harry said, I don't know. I think he's lost. Right? I'd been gone for 4 days at this point, and she told me this, and I was like, oh, you didn't just tell me that, did you? Like, could you have not waited till I got back? But that is, again, the type of things that we go through, and the kids they're not stupid. But again, I think I've said this to you before, and I mentioned it yesterday. My journey was when I realised that the kids were starting to notice I was gone. I changed it from I'm going to work to I'm going to get a tile for the pool. And every time Natalie said, what do I say to Harry or Tobias or Grayson or whoever? I said, tell them I'm going to get a tile for the pool for our house that we're going to buy in America, because I want them to swim in a pool every day or every weekend. So every time Daddy goes to an event, or Daddy goes to another country, or Daddy leaves, he's essentially getting the ability to buy us a swimming pool. And each event was the tile that we were adding to the collection to put in the pool, and that made sense to them. That now they were asking, have we got the pool yet? Has Daddy built the pool? Right. So like I turned the whole thing around, and here we are 10 years on, and they swim in the pool. Right. So stuff comes true.
Yeah. And that's the back in like I'd say when I left my first job, because I got married to my wife Twee over there, and that job was in San Francisco, and I was gonna move in with her. That job was like an hour and a half away, and I knew that first clinic was a good clinic. It was a very honest clinic where we did good work there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew when I left there, like, oh God, I'm gonna have to start my own business. But I was a good clinician, but I'm painfully disorganized, and I can't read my own handwriting. I can't organize a folder. I can't do anything. Remember Simon?
Yes.
When I had to assemble furniture, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this piece of furniture. I'm trying to start a clinic, but I don't know how to assemble this thing. I was like, I can fix a shoulder. I can't assemble this thing. So I'm just painfully like incapable of doing most things. And I'm like, I can't start a business. You have to be organized. You have to like have spreadsheets. You have to like schedule people. I was like, there's no way I'll ever do the business. But I was scared that I was gonna have to do all those things. So, but that my hand was forced, and then I had to do it. But during that time, when I was like, oh God, I gotta start a practice. But then I was thinking like, all right, if I'm gonna start a practice, what is it gonna look like? What's that first office gonna have to look like? Well, my wife is a massage therapist. So we're gonna need two treatment rooms, and we're gonna need a small reception area. We're gonna need a little break room. So when I just had a vision of what it needed to look like, and when we were at the point where we're starting to actually look for a space, mm-hmm. We were browsing on like whatever realtor.com, whatever it is for commercial real estate, and then we stopped by this small little tucked away little office space, pretty cheap and affordable, but I saw one treatment room here.
Yeah. I
saw one treatment room here. I saw a little break room and a small little reception area. I was like, oh shit, this was the vision. This was it. This is the one. This has to be it, because it's the thing I was envisioning 2 years prior. I can literally see it now. So it's like, oh, interesting. What is this thing of like, you imagine something and then you see it.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta go do it. So that's the pool. I was like, oh, it's the same thing. It's that. Yeah, so that's that. Like
you mentioned
a crazy like experience just to kind of go through. It's, oh my gosh, it's here. This is the one. We got to do it.
Entrepreneurs have great intuitions. The best entrepreneurs have the best intuitions, where they can almost visualize and feel something that hasn't existed yet. But that's, I think, what is so great about entrepreneurship, is that we can see it and feel it, and like there's just then an inevitable period of time in between actually getting it if we go execute. And that's why I wanted to ask you a question on. You mentioned there that you might not be very good with assembly of furniture. We are kindred spirits, by the way. The idea that I would even
pisses her off.
I'm sure that my staff have picked up on this.
Screwdrivers, hammers, like drills.
Well, this is Natalie, right? Oh, in my house, Natalie would change bulbs. She would put pictures up. She would, if we get furniture, she would do it. The idea that I would even be capable, when a tradesperson comes into my house, they'll often say, do you have a hammer or a screwdriver? And I'll look at them almost in like fear of like, I mean, we might have, but I don't know where it is, because it ain't been in my hands. But the phrase I used to use was, whenever anybody asked me to do anything, I used to say, these hands are for healing, not DIY. But I'm gonna ask you a question, because all that said, you're not very good at DIY and you're not very good at this structure thing and organising thing. I remember you in 2017. I'd just been running the coaching company for about 2 years at this point. So I've got probably 100 clients at this point. And you were one of the fastest I've ever seen. You went from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. As in, very, very quickly, you were making good money inside of that practice, right? In a 0 to 90 day window after Accelerator. Why then? How? Like, because you haven't got the organizations. What did you do so well?
She was pregnant with our first kid.
So you had to make it work.
No choice at that point. Gotta go. no choice.
Yeah.
I could see the writing on the wall. It was learn this shit or stay in the job. All right, let's go.
Let's go.
What do I got to learn? Let's do it fast.
Yeah.
So the faster I can do this, the faster I can get out. When you don't know,
So it was almost the pressure that you had to make it work.
you had no choice. And the thing about the podcast was, this is the blueprint for how to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, these are people that have already done it. Let's just follow exactly what they did and just have no doubts or fears that it's going to work. It's right in front of you. Like, why can't you just do the thing? They've already done it. And do it fast.
Yeah.
Why wait? Why wait?
What was it then? Obviously, there's a baby coming. Was it? This is an interesting conversation. So there's the baby on the way. Was it the just initial need for stability and survival and a safe place for a child to come into your life and making sure that financially you're comfortable? Or do you think there was now almost a new level of pressure, of responsibility that was placed upon you that changed Kevin?
Having kids will change you.
Yeah.
It changes you. Because what I would have done had the baby not been on the way is default back to older habits of I'll watch, I'll play video games. I'll do these other things. I'll do these things that I've enjoyed for 20 something years. And if you don't have a reason to not do those things, then you'll just do those same things. But I didn't, the whole world of like business ownership and entrepreneurship was just not a thing that was ever on my mind coming up, because I was like, I'm not that type of person that does these things. I don't have these skills. I don't have these abilities. I'm a good PT. Yeah. And I just, again, organization, that wasn't part of my identity. So like, I'm not going to go and do it. But then you bring in a kid, it's like, it changes you. And that's what changed. It changes you, where it's like, oh, okay, now I guess I got to grow up. Now I got to be responsible. Now I got to learn these things. It's not like the fact that these things are so scary. It's just a matter of just like doing it, because you have this sense of responsibility to be able to provide. And that's something that when you don't have kids, you don't have that need and responsibility to provide for the family. I think it's very deep and instinctual especially for men. I think it's just we have to provide.
Yes.
But if you don't have anyone to provide for, then like you're just gonna fuck around. Right?
Tony Robbins talks about this, and a huge influence on my life, up there with Dan Kennedy, and it's swap your wants for your needs. And what I've seen over a decade as I've worked with entrepreneurs, clinic owners, when they aren't clear on why they're doing what they're doing, or there isn't some kind of absolute need or I must make this work. It doesn't work, because the default to who they were, the default to Netflix, the default to any reason to be busy other than do the work that is required. And I've even been able to narrow it down, because there'll be people listening to this who don't have kids or don't want kids or can't, for God reasons or biological, which again, I don't think that it's just a child, if you like, that makes you change, although it inevitably does. I think the real bigger picture for everybody is that there has got to be a must in our life, or a need in our life, for me to change as an individual, to move from somebody that can't get something finished or something done, who procrastinates, who dabbles, to, oh shit, I must. And this is what Tony Robbins talks about a lot, where I move from, I want to run a business. Lots of people listening to this podcast want to run a successful business. There is 10% listening to this podcast who need to run a successful business, because their identity's on the line, their children are on the line, just who they want to be is on the line. In my case, it was, I think I'd started the business before the kids. Well, I was already on the journey before the kids, but my need was to be a successful business person, to prove to my father that I was worthy, lovable, and all of the things. So I didn't want to be a successful business owner. I needed to be one, right? And it was the only way I knew at that point to prove to my dad that I was successful and I was worthy and lovable. But then when the kids came along, at every point, every time a child came along, I needed to figure out how to be better so that I could fit them into my life, right? With 5 kids, you're like, shit, how do I get home at 5:30, 6 o'clock every night with 5 kids? Well, I need to figure out how to be better, or I need to figure out how to hire people to take some of these things off me. So when we swap our wants for our needs, or our wants for our musts, it's a completely different game. and even on the last thing I'd say, over 10 years, when somebody comes to me and says, I want to run a successful business because I want lots of time off, very rarely does it work. In fact, I would say 9.5 times out of 10, when somebody gets on a coaching call with us and says, I want a successful business because I want freedom and I want summers in Europe, or I want lots of vacations, or I want flexibility, very rarely does it actually work for them, because their mind is in, I don't want to do much. I want to do as little as I can mode, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas you come on a call and you're like, I need to be a successful business owner because I've got a family to provide for. You're basically saying, I'm willing to do the work. And then as a consequence of that, you get the time off, you get the flexibility, you get to be home with your children, you get to pick them up from school. So that's why I love these interviews, because the understanding the psychology of business owners and people is mega. What do you think today, as people look at you, right? You're doing really well in business, you're on the way up again, you've got staff coming into the business, beautiful family, maybe drop your kids off at school on a morning, potentially pick them up on an evening if you want. You got grandparents around you. It appears to be, it looks great for the Mal family, right? From the outside.
Yeah, it looks great. And it is great compared to all other alternatives had we not. Still working at a clinic where I'm treating 16 patients a day, burnt out, bringing notes home. In our area, big health organizations. I was saying the other day, like all the PTs went on strike.
Well, what? So
went on strike? Like
what's
I would have been on the picket line had I not started the business.
With all that said, what's the responsibility that you carry that nobody sees?
So again, we're out here. Right now, revenue's not coming in. We shut the clinic down. We just made our first full-time hire starting Monday. And I had a set plan when I came here. I was like, all right, we're launching this membership program, because this is going to be the ability to get full as fast as possible, so I can actually start to have a little more time. And when the people look on the outside at the schedule and the rates, what we charge, it's like, oh, that life can't be so bad. You're treated.
Give us a little insight. The price.
$450 per hour is base rate. Packages are between 10 session package for like $4,000, something like that. Yep. And you just need like 3 or 4 patients a day, and you're good.
So that's what they see.
That's what they see. Yeah. What do they not see? How do these patients come in ready to hand their credit card over? The calls, the follow-up calls you have to do, the articles you have to write, the videos you have to create. This is what I was writing down. It's not the wellness program is the issue. That's not the issue. What the issue is I got to film videos, which means you need a tripod, you need a microphone, you need a teleprompter, you need to I've got to write a slideshow. I haven't done a slideshow since college. I haven't done PowerPoint since college, right? And then it's like, I have to call this person that doesn't has objections and doesn't want to pay, but they'd be a good client, but I can't get them across the line. What other shit that goes on in my head that at night, thinking about the next day, it's like, I've got I'm just trying to think. What is all the others? It's not the big thing. Like the wellness program is not the problem. It's the 500 little things that have to happen to get to that thing is the fucking obstacle, right? It's the landing page, the fucking button they have to click to fucking register their interest. I gotta call them. I have to send a letter. These are the things that get in the way of the wellness program. So that's why I came to fucking Florida, so I can get all this shit done, because it's not going to get done up there. Because I got to treat 10 patients this week. I have to come home. I gotta eat dinner with the family. I gotta watch basketball, because I gotta watch basketball. I have to, right? It's a good season. The league's in the best shape ever. I'm not gonna write landing page when the Hornets are on. LaMelo's going crazy. I gotta watch.
Is that your player? Who's your team?
I like players. I'm not bound to any specific team. I used to love Dirk.
Okay.
Dirk was my guy. Even though I'm a short Asian guy, he was a 7-foot German guy. What I love about Dirk was he was the most unathletic guy on the court, but he just made it work with just skill and just like beauty and finesse.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Dirk, you had one of the greatest
11, man. Oh, dude, come on.
LeBron,
Kobe,
and Kevin Durant.
Wow.
the Heatles. Oh, he did it single-handed with like
By himself.
37-year-old Jason Kidd, just only a spot up shooter at this point.
So
like, oh man.
what attracts you to him? The underdog, maybe?
The fact that he didn't have the physical skill but could win based off of other things, and
There we
that's
go.
kind of how I've always seen myself. For not the biggest guy, but I always knew that I could hopefully outsmart someone away of things, even though they have certain advantages. I could find another way. And so I'm always gravitated towards athletes like that, not the biggest, strongest, fastest, but the guys that kind of find their way and are able to dominate in a different way, just being a little smarter or use their whatever their quirk is.
Yeah, the underdog. It's it.
Yeah.
So we all. It's amazing how we see somebody. We see ourselves in somebody.
Yeah.
And usually the most business owners are insecure. We're very, very insecure, and that actually causes a lot of the success that we have, because inside we're trying to fix something. My kids are obsessed right now with Spider-Man, and I think it's the ultimate story when you really dig into Spider-Man's story of how he lost his parents, he lost his uncle, he couldn't get the girl, he was picked on at school and so on, and how many of us love that type of underdog story.
Yeah.
If he'd have been a good-looking guy who had all of the girls, who had the perfect family, like nobody would have watched him, right? But as entrepreneurs, we often find somebody that isn't quite perfect but is successful anywhere, and we try to model something on them because it like we see ourselves in them.
Yeah, I love watching the league. So when the league's on, I gotta set time aside to watch.
What's the one thing with your family that you absolutely refuse to budge on? So what's the one ritual that you've got? Is it getting home for dinner? Is it watching a movie together, or school with the kids? Like, what's the thing that you, despite the business, what's the thing that I just refuse to move for that?
One thing is we have to do Twee's videos, my wife's videos, her cooking videos. Right, that's the one thing.
Yeah.
Like people also don't see the support structure underneath why I get to do all these things. Because what people don't, they see the price, they see the packages, they see the clinic. Oh, what a great life. What they don't see is on a slow month, she picks up a couple of massage packages, a couple $1,000 a month to help us out. Who's keeping the packages updated to make sure? You know what I mean? Who's keeping the organization? I still can't organize. I think I'm doing it now. Who's good at organizing things, keeping files, little things, right? Who's editing the videos that I'm creating, putting up on social media? Who do you think's editing? You think I'm editing? She's editing. So the non-negotiable is what she wants to do, and her cooking channel. So we gotta make sure she has a pathway too. So that's the one non-negotiable thing.
What's it like working together then, because a lot of people have probably tried it and maybe it's exposed a few cracks in the relationship. What do you do to make sure that it works? Because it sounds like for you guys, you're a team, you're on board with each other. That's probably quite rare inside of a couples based business.
I think some people would see it as I have to run a business with my wife. There's no way. But it's like, no, I get to run a business with my wife.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe she's not going to be the best on the phone, doing like phone calls and follow-up calls, but she's good on the back end. So why am I going to make her do like phone calls when she's beautiful? She keeps the clinic neat and organized and clean. The experience. If it were up to me, if I were running the clinic by myself, it would be a messy, disorganized. They get great care. They get better, but they'd walk in. It's like there's papers everywhere. It's just it'll just be a mess. So when people walk in and see a nice, beautiful, nice decorated clinic that's small but very warm and just kind of inviting, that's all her.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing that people they don't see is the what allows the thing to work is the thing that people don't see in the background.
What's
just her?
As you've got to this point now, what do you think has suffered? What have you had to sacrifice, or what's suffered? What's Kevin had to give up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, to get to this point now?
Yeah, it's the identity shift of the procrastinator, slacker guy that played video games, and it was a fine thing to get rid of that.
Yeah. Did you give yourself that label, or did somebody else?
I kind of I didn't like take ownership of that label. That's just kind of who I was. Like I was a guy that kind of slept through classes in high school. I kind of just breezed my way through college. And had I do it again, I would still sleep through those classes. I would still breeze through college because it didn't interest me.
Yeah.
And I just kind of got the bare minimum grade that I needed to because I just needed to get to the PT school that I wanted to get to. Ended up going to a great school and everything like that. But then there were like certain things that I was really good at, like certain courses, certain things like neuro and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I like this stuff. I can stay up like learning this stuff all day long.
Yeah.
So I think for me it was just finding the business, the game of business was something like when it was introduced to me by you, I was like, oh, I can do this. This is right up my alley. Right? This is I can knock this out. This aligns with the thing that I'll stay up late at night, like reading the books. I'll stay up at night, listen to Dan Kennedy podcast. This is just like I want to do it. It excites me. So like I didn't know that this was a thing that was available to me until you came along. I was like, oh, you can live life like this. Oh, okay, this is all right for me. So it's just finding the thing that kind of aligns with the part of me that gets the best part of my brain to be able to act a certain way. Is the game of business. So.
Was there anything about you or the business that you think I wish I'd addressed that earlier? Was there times or was there moments?
For sure, 100% was the hiring of clinical staff. Mm-hmm. And I'd say, we had that couple year haze of just like, all right, we're intentionally not growing because mm-hmm. we're just not in the mindset to grow. And there's no way I wanted to bring on staff and salaries during these years. But when you're in that mindset, it's just speaking to reality, like you start scanning YouTube, and when you're not in growth mode, you're starting to watch all these. We're trying to buy a house in California, mm-hmm. right? Let's just put it out there. We're trying to buy a house, and with what we charge, what we make, still not enough mm-hmm. in our area, right? Still have to commute in 45 minutes away to the place we work because we can't afford to live in the actual town that we actually have a business in. It's crazy. And here I am like watching YouTube talking about, oh, the housing crash is coming any day now. The prices are going to come down. So it's like, all right, the prices are going to come down. I can sit like 3 to 5 patients a day, whatever, with what I'm making right now, because the prices are going to come down. 2022 passes, prices have not come down yet.
No.
And guess what else has gone up? The cost of everything. And guess whose prices have not gone up with that? Ours. Mm-hmm. So they went up 2024. They're going to go up again. But back to what you're saying. So again, I give myself that 2 to 3 year grace period of just survive. But I'd say it was about a year of like, oh, I think things are safe and clear, but I didn't kind of want to grow yet because I would have had to force yet another. I would have to go back into growth mode. I wasn't ready for that.
What's caused the change then? What's forced you to change as a leader? What's forced you to think differently?
You may get a kick out of this because the thing that jarred me back to my senses wasn't anything. It was a random late at night YouTube video of a very old Dan Kennedy seminar.
Okay.
The 6-hour wealth attraction seminar. Remember that one?
Yes, I probably watched everything.
Oh yeah. Man, that one. It was
probably that.
It did. It was an older one.
Right.
That one. He talked about the state of the world today back in like 2005.
And let me guess. You said the same problems that were happening today.
Yes.
Back then, nothing changes. Yeah.
And the thing that I didn't realize that I was having issues with was which is what I think pretty much everyone that's going through it today is our relationship with money and wealth attraction, and that you're almost scared to go out and make it because you're going to get criticized. You're going to get stones thrown at you. Oh, you're rich. You're exploiting someone. You must be hurting someone to get you where you're at. and that fear of like, oh, if I go out and do this thing, then people are gonna harshly criticize me for like exploiting workers or something like that, or like, oh, look at this greedy bastard, like, trying to make his way. And listen to that seminar, it flipped it.
So this was in 2005 he did this?
No, I think that seminar was in 2005. It was an old seminar, popped up on YouTube
it's 21
randomly.
years ago. Dan is talking, so this is pre what we're dealing with now. It's all of the social media storm, pre COVID, pre internet crash, pre housing crash, 2008. Yep. So we go all the way back to 2005. Just for full context, Dan Kennedy, for anybody listening, is the guy that I credit with being my original OG mentor that's taught me almost certainly the best 80% of everything that I know to be true today about marketing, life, not just marketing, but life, right? And that's the thing I think that people underestimate with good mentors. It isn't just about marketing, it's about life and how to think about it. And Dan in 2005 is talking about how you will be chastised for being greedy, for being successful, that society might not see you favorably, and so on. All of this has gone on in 2005.
Yep.
So nothing has changed.
Nothing's changed.
In 21 years.
Nothing's changed, and I don't know.
So how do you deal with this, right? And this is a good conversation. I'm brought up in a small town in England, a place called Hartlepool, right? To suggest that it's economically challenged is an understatement. My town would be on the top 10 list of obesity, crime, unemployment, lowest wages on average in the country. We would be in the top 10 for everything that you wouldn't want to be in, right? So I've been raised in a town where nobody, and by the way, I wasn't poor. My dad and mother worked very hard, so we were low middle class, I would call us, right, as I was raised up. But I'm still in a town that there's no money, right? So I come from that. So I wonder if we have a good discussion about this. You're raised in Rhode Island,
yeah,
right? But now we're in California.
Sure.
Talk to me about this, right? Because I watch California from afar, and what I see, it must be very, very difficult. If what I see is true on the social and various things of the political perception of how easy it is for them to blame and chastise business owners, how is it, or what is it like dealing with that external because here in Florida you would be congratulated for being successful. Yes, there will be a few envious, poisonous rat bags, let's call them, but I get the impression in California that is one of the biggest challenges that you deal with, is that you're rich or you're doing well and I'm not, therefore it's your fault. What's that like?
That's what people think, but when you actually start talking to patients that need the care, that can't get it because their PT's on strike and their knee is throbbing, their back is aching, they can't find the help, they're very grateful that you're around. That's been my experience, at least from a clinical side. Does
it generally get in the way, right? Do you think of yourself differently as a result of the external pressure because of your rates and prices? Does it come with a little bit of what will people think?
Not after that seminar, no.
Right. So what did he go on to say? Tell me. I mean, knowing Dan, right? Knowing Dan, it would have been some version of your personal responsibility. You're different from these guys. You need to shut these people out. It's almost your duty to be successful. That
it wasn't that. It was it was mostly about like. For me personally, just the big takeaway is like with what we do, with what we charge, it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
How much were the Super Bowl tickets?
Oh my goodness, exactly $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 probably.
And where was the Super Bowl?
Yeah, California.
California. How much does the Louis Vuitton handbag cost?
Yeah. Thousands. Yeah.
It's not expensive. What we do, what we charge, and the results that we can give, honest, respectful, legitimate results that are going to improve someone's quality of life. Do you think though, let's take it out of California, people listening to this, right, probably driving to work this morning, opening up a clinic. Do you think in our profession, in the PT profession, that people are living with a little bit of guilt and stigma around being profitable and successful and maybe even rich as a result of running a healthcare clinic? Yes, 100%. I think
maybe they're living in fear of Billie Eilish criticizing us for daring to run a successful business.
One
while she exploits
Yeah.
every 16-year-old girl on the planet for as much money as she can to live in a $20 million home. But that's another story
Right.
for another day.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that we have to get over, because that is the conversation happening right now in society. So it's on people's minds for sure. So how could you not be money conscious about when you see in the news and all these things, and I think it subconsciously kind of gets you and grabs you, and that's the thing, is the subconscious, like that I guess that's the main thing, is the accumulation of all these little things that we see through our youth growing up, the things we see in the news, like it subconsciously makes you squeamish towards, oh, now I have to ask this person for money. What if they say no, and it's, or if they say like, this is too much, you're greedy. I'm gonna go on next door and say this PT in the neighborhood is charging like however much money, and then you get like bad press from the people on the next door app. Like that's the thing. It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna get criticized by this discovery visit. She's gonna start like writing posts on like Yelp, like how expensive this person is.
Do you still worry about that to this day?
No,
Not today.
absolutely not.
How long did that take you to get over?
Yeah, it was around that time where I made the shift again, when I started to reframe, like, oh no, it is expensive relative to, I want to be fair, it's expensive relative to like a personal training session. It is expensive relative to a PT clinic down the street, and it is expensive in relation to those things. Yes, it is expensive, but not in relation to the actual like outcome that you can actually give for someone. 82 years old, can't walk, just had 3 hip surgeries or whatever, and went to the PT down the street, and her PT's on strike, and her doctor wants to give her another injection, and if you can get her feeling better in a couple of weeks, and has like only, respectfully, not many more years left, she has enough money to spend, like, I'll spend it with you if you can actually help me get better. So it's not an issue when she find that client, that client. The problem is, again, let's talk a little bit about just like the type of people that come into the clinic. This is something I've just kind of observed over the years, is when there are a list of 10 clinics on Google search, and this one's got 30, this one's got 5-star rating, this one has 34 stars. Like, yeah, you're up against that. So they'll call, they'll ring, they'll compare prices. Oh, dude, take my insurance. And then when they call our clinic, it's like, I'm like, how did you hear about us? Oh, I found you on Google. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. Because I know that like I'm just being price shopped. But instead of thinking, oh shit, now it's like, okay, let me see if this is that lady that has that specific problem that has already gone through all these clinics, because if she's that one, I'll take her in. Yeah. So all the other ones, I can't have that conversation. I'll try my best. It's not that I'm gonna not have them come in. Try my best to have them come in if maybe they do have money to spend. So I get that is the main thing that I did learn from that seminar, is to not judge people based off of what you think that they could afford. To pay for their own health. That is the main shift that I would say that came out of that, is judging someone based off of how they sound, what their name is. Oh, this person may not be able to afford, and I want to lower my price to because that'll make me feel like a good person, because I'm lowering my price because of how someone sounds or how someone looks. It's the most discriminatory, most vile, like disgusting thing that I think we could ever do to someone, is judge someone what they would pay for their own health. I think it's crazy, but that's going on right now. Is it not?
I think it's been going on and always will. And that, go back to my town where I'm from, that was the thing that I had to eradicate quite quickly, that there would almost have been nobody that arrived in my office that I could have looked at and thought, based upon where they live or the car that they drove or what they did for a living, that could have afforded my prices, especially as I started to take the business seriously and needed to raise the rates to grow the business. But I had to get rid of that. There's almost an arrogance and is it arrogance, or is it there is something just not fundamentally right, that a 26-year-old PT out of college thinks that they can look at somebody based upon where they live and what they wear and what car that they drive and make a determination of what they can pay for physical therapy. And that is typically what we hear in offices. And I think that's the part that many businesses don't ever get their head around. The guilt, the pressure, the understanding of that there is a cord cut between this is what I do, this is how much I need to charge to grow my business based upon the value I provide. Would you like to pay for it? And then having zero emotional connection to that, whether it's a yes or it's a no. And that seems to be something that you've conquered. And I bring it back to you because, look, I'm English. I often joke about politics here in America. I don't get sucked into it. But it's blatantly obvious to me that certain states have significantly more pressure. And the big one that I will just nudge you in the right direction of, this is not a coaching session, but staff.
Yeah.
The opinions of staff in certain states. I deal with a hell of a lot more conflict and cultural issues inside of certain businesses in certain states. I'll leave it there as to what colour those states might be, because the opinions of those staff are significantly more venomous around money and rich and ugly kind of business owners and so on, and they feel the need to impress those opinions on the business owner. And I think that is actually a lot of the challenges in places like California, Washington's, like even Virginia. We had a call from somebody, a lady on a Coffee with Gough the other day from Virginia, and it was my staff are running the show, and it's like I hear that more and more in highly politicized states.
Yeah, the one thing I keep going back to the seminar because it was like this like mental like paradigm shift snapped me out of it, to say the least. And he talked about the story of the chiropractor who wanted to do it, but the front desk lady had the stuff in her mind and sabotaged the ability because the thing is the secretary makes a certain rate, and the secretary is the patient walking in, and the secretary knows full well that this is a secretary and that this secretary knows what that secretary makes.
Yeah.
And she knows full well that that secretary cannot afford the treatment, and the secretary is looking at Mr. Boss driving the Ferrari, and there's a little resentment with that.
Yeah.
And she subconsciously or consciously sabotages that woman coming in for the health because she feels she's trying to protect that person by not taking their money, because taking someone's money away is considered a bad thing to do. That it's an evil thing. You're hurting someone by taking their money. That was the thing that was like I'm hurting someone if I make the sale, and I don't want to hurt someone, but you're helping them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shift.
It's the false beliefs again, and that's what I'm encouraging anybody listening to this. The external pressure is one thing, and your false beliefs from your parents are another. But often when staff come into a practice, we're watching it now with AI. I've had people, I would say 99% of the problems that we have with a business owner who joins our AI program will come from a staff member whose bias towards AI is negative, that they are some kind of, and again, take this the right way, there's a climate change activist, or there's somebody who thinks the world should just be completely democratized and everybody should have the same thing, and is worried about how AI will affect somebody's jobs in the future, which is valid, right? Fine. But really, that's not, you can't bring that into a business like at this point. And what you find is they are negatively biased towards AI because of their views of the world. Leave your views at home, and we respect that, but the business owner has to do everything possible to grow a successful business in spite of your views. And if your bias, you're coming into an environment where that type of bias it cannot exist. And I think for any business owner, that's what you've got to watch out for in healthcare.
So we're not consciously doing. We're just looking for the staff that just kind of fit our values. Put it that way. Just good like A players, just people with winning attitudes. That it's like if you don't adopt this mindset, then I'm not going to be able to pay you what you need to get paid to be able to work in a clinic where life is pretty nice as the clinical PT part of me. This is the dream job. It's the best job ever. It's 3 to 5 patients a day, get paid more. It's like that's for the clinician coming into that practice. It's a breeze.
Yeah.
which is why it just dumbfounds me where it's been actually so hard to find staff. So my issue is not getting the staff on board; it's actually getting them in for a freaking interview.
Mm-hmm.
We've been looking for a PT for 2 years,
Yep.
and we're I don't want to say like oh woe was me. It's just that we're not looking hard enough. But I was telling you yesterday, it's like, you know, why don't we just shift our approach a little bit a couple months back and let's look for maybe a chiropractor. And my wife here put the job posting up, and the chiropractor we hired came within 24 hours her putting the post up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a hungry go-getter, you know, stacking skills, wants to be good, wants to be great. He's not bringing that stuff in. He just wants to do well. So it's like, okay, come on board. Let's do it. So I think it's just finding those people that have that alignment of let's go. Let's block all the noise. Let's try to succeed. Let's try to make better lives for ourselves, and that's what we want.
As you grow, what's important to you that you protect? So we want to grow the business, but it can't come at the consequence of.
There is an ego side of growth when people start knowing who you are, and people start hearing of you, and you have to and people are going to start praising you, right? And they're going to start pumping you up, and that's when you're on top of the world. I think it's going to feel nice, but I think when you don't see something coming, or your ego gets too far ahead of you, and mistakes might happen, and those are the things that I'm consciously looking out for. Again, I don't. You know, we're still in growth mode. I know we'll get there. I have that vision again. I see it, so I know that intuition. I just know it's going to get to that point, but I'm consciously aware of making sure that ego does not come up and bite me in the butt, and I'll lose everything. So
That's interesting. So as the business gets bigger, you're more worried about that you might become somebody that you're not today.
yeah, that's right.
That's interesting.
I like where I am today. I like our situation. I love my family, and you know, everything that comes with it. So just making sure I don't change in a way that I don't want to change. That's the thing I'm consciously aware of. So
That's interesting. That's one of the most beautiful things I've ever had on this podcast. In all honesty, I've never had anybody answer anything like that. That as we grow, we're trying to hold on to the values and the beliefs and the just love for the kids and for the. How many kids now?
Three.
Beautiful.
3 kids. Yeah, and I'm here because I want to take her to France and Spain, Italy next year. Take her on vacation, so we're gonna make it happen.
Amazing. I think as you grow, there will be an inevitability that you will evolve, and your appreciation for things. And this is what, if I was sat here talking to one of my kids, so take this the right way, I hope that as you grow your success, that you grow your appreciation for the little things, and somehow find an ability to think big and massive, right? There's a picture in my kids' bedroom. Dream big, little one. Dream as big as you possibly can. Bigger than bigger. Not just France and Italy and all of the. How do we do the cruise? How do we not be on the cruise? How do we get our own yacht, right? So we not even just thinking about being in these places, but what might it be like to be chauffeured around Rome, like taking on a yacht, like just whatever that version of that dream looks like. Dream as big as you possibly can, but then figure out a way to absolutely obsess and love the smallest of things on the way. That I think that's the skill that for me as I've gone through. How old are you now? 39, right? So I'm only 5 years ahead, right? Which I'm 5 years ahead in terms of the journey, right? And a couple of extra kids. But I think that's one of the most powerful things that I've learned, and things that I'm very proud of, that still to this day I can think extremely big, and probably bigger than anybody I've ever met. But I have an appreciation for the absolute smallest and tiniest of detail. This morning with my kids, holding their hand, walking into school, staring at them. I'm often late coming in on a morning because I won't leave the schoolyard until I physically, possibly cannot see my child anymore. It isn't just there's the
We do the same thing
there's
with our daughter.
there's
same
the
thing.
there's the line and he's crossed the other side of it. I'm literally like this, like how do I?
Our
there it
daughter
is.
does this thing where she turns around and waves to us and
Just keeps
and
going.
just keeps going like this with a big smile on her face, and then we can't see her anymore. It's the best part of the morning, is it not?
It's worth every single thing.
It is. So that's the.
But the point that I'm raising is they're the smallest of things that are going to make, you'll always remember them, and they are what makes life tick. But equally, there's lots of parents in that, and take this the right way, there's lots of parents in that schoolyard who I'm acutely aware that was their day. I'm encouraging you as a business owner that is an amazing part of your day, but what we're always working towards is something else, right? We can have both. You can have that absolute moment, and we don't have to go home at 9:15 and go, now I have to wait till tomorrow for that to happen again. I get to come to work and work on the biggest of things. Yeah. And how do I create something huge for the family that we can enjoy and experience it? So I can do all of that. I just can't do it at the expense of that being the most important, memorable thing in my life. And I think as a business owner, if you can figure out how to trade both of these things simultaneously, that's you're rich. Whatever money you make, you're rich. So dream big, massive. Whatever version of that story for next summer, you might not get it. You might not get the 72-foot yacht and the chauffeur, right? But what if, right? What if? And as long as that doesn't come at the expense of Kevin being angry along the way and perennially frustrated, where he stops taking notice of his daughter on the way into school because he's thinking about this big thing. Yeah. I think any business owner that nails that, you are absolutely rich.
Yep.
Well done.
Thank you.
You're doing amazing, both of you. Fantastic. Thank you for coming in. I've loved it. Well done.
Of course. Yeah. Pleasure.
Enjoyed it?
Oh, yeah.
Good. All right. Thank you for listening to the podcast, Kevin Mao. Where can people check you out? Website?
Let's go. Come on. If you're on strike, wanna not do that, and let's go. You wanna actually do this thing the right way? Come on.
You are one of the most sincere, humble, beautiful people and families that I've ever met.
Thank you so much.
And I even remember you in 2017. I don't think you've changed one bit in a good way, as in you've evolved. But everything that you've just said there, I haven't seen any negative, bad kind of arrogance in you at any point. So I think whoever comes to work for you, they're going to be very lucky.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We'll be back with another episode. Check us out. Coffee with Gough is now once, twice, sometimes 3 times a week live. You need to follow us on Instagram to find out when and to submit your questions. And don't forget, like I said, we're off to Los Angeles, Hollywood. Are you going to be there?
We're going to try. We do have
no try.
Prior commitment.
Just move it. I don't care what it is. Move it. Los Angeles, Hollywood, May the 1st, 2nd and 3rd. There will be 200 PTs. Kevin will be there. He will be there. He just needs to rearrange the wedding or whatever it is that he's going to be going to on that weekend. But check out cashpaysummit.com and we will see you in Kevin's beautiful state of California.
Let's go.
Hey, this is Paul Gough. Thanks for watching. If you like my content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking for even more, be sure to head over to Amazon and you can find my 7 best-selling books for physical therapists in private practice. Head over to Amazon and find me now.